Good evening, everybody. Brittany, I see you're here. Hi, Kristen. How's the audio? Hi, Jean. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Good. Thank you. I've had trouble tonight, so I'm glad it's working. Hi, Liz. We'll talk about this one in a minute. Linda. Linda. I'm going to come see you guys here sometime soon in South Carolina. Make a South Carolina trip. Paula, how are you? I'd love to get up your way too. So many places to go. So many places to go. Goodness. Need to get out, Liz, your way. I know. Exactly. Yes. Bingo. I know. So many places to go. Ashley Gilmore, hello. I'm seeing your note here. We've got this Streamyard thing going on. And sometimes it shows up like that. And if that's you and you want your name on this feed, which is kind of what we're using, the reason we use this is because it simulcasts to YouTube. So if you notice, we've got people like Brittany is on YouTube, and it does it at the same time. And then we can, I love that we can, put these little posts up. Hi, Emma, welcome. Welcome to you. And Michelle made it. That's the way I feel tonight, Michelle. I feel, whew, I'm sweating. It's hot. It's humid. It's not as hot, but it's humid. I've been having some trouble, and the trouble has been electrical. And I checked the Schumann resonance, and it's not going crazy right now. But an electric plug out there on the patio where I normally would have done this is out, and it's connected to the plug in the bathroom and one plug in the hall. And there's nothing on the circuit panel. There are no GFHCI QRST plug, to push the button to get it to come back. I checked that. Then I tried to plug my audio thing in. It didn't want to work. That was the connection. So I'm just like, whew, I'm glad we made it. Oh, goodness. Arnaldo, I'm glad you're here, buddy, because I need you tonight. I need you. So drink some coffee and coffee up, and we're going to talk about what all's going on. So we've got some folks that, if you want to, you can hit that link up in the StreamYard link. And I'm not sure if you have to come out and go back in. I'm not sure because I'm on this end of it, so I don't know. But in the StreamYard post, there's just a link right at the end of the description there that says streamyard.com/Facebook. And that's where you can put your name or give it permission to put your name in these feeds. So that's great. And then, see, you can do this too. So there's Lynn. Yay. I'm so glad you're here. You always encourage me. So yeah, I checked the breaker box there. It's not even labeled, and none of the breakers are out. So anyway, thank you. On the shirt, let's see. Let me see. I'm hopping back and forth over to the feed because I do want to see who you guys are, and Facebook is not going to let me scroll. Thanks, Zuck. Okay, enough of that. I'm not going to get distracted. You guys can set that. Anyway, you can drop your name in there if you'd like to. Thank you. This is my Ohm shirt, and I get these up in Boone. Hang on, get that out. Take that off. Whoop. Ohm shirt. Get them up at a little store called Dancing Moon in Boone, North Carolina. It's a great little shop, and they are cool shirts and they're cool energy. So that's why I got it out tonight. Figured we could use it. All right, we are going to talk about healing tonight. I really have a great little session. I think this is going to mean so much to you. Cheryl, are you in the house? I'm not sure if she's going to be able to make it tonight. But if you have anything that you would like physical, emotional, or spiritual healing around, I want you to think of it at this point. Then in a little while, you can express it in the chat. You don't have to say what it is if you don't want. You can just say me. But just to say, it's kind of like raising the hand in here. It's the best we've got, right? Hi, Jack. Glad you're here. We're going to be talking about healing. I don't know if Ashley's in earshot. I think she might like this stuff. So this is from the new book that I finished this afternoon. Yes. From Fred. It's not that long. I think it's going to be just shy of 5 hours on healing. And the reason that that Arnaldo is important to our conversation tonight is because he was in Orlando with us. That's where we met. And this was it the Sunday? Didn't we do this on the last day? Help me remember. Was it Saturday or Sunday that we did the healing? And okay, see, I'm glad that we're going to be doing this. So cue up your healing things, and we'll talk about those in a minute. But this was one of the afternoons of the seminar. And I'm telling you, I think it was the reason that everybody felt like they walked out of that seminar room 10 feet off the ground. It was an amazing experience. And people were healed of various things. Final day. That's what I was thinking, Arnaldo. Thank you. Yeah. And that's why I think it was so monumental. And I don't know that maybe one of the things we'll have to heal for each other is that we can all get to sleep tonight after this is over, because this is really, I think, going to be special and show you something from this book that is going to be a technique that you can use the rest of your life. There's a lot more explained, obviously, in the 5 hours of the book. Even if you cut a third of it out, still the 2/3, the 3 hours or so, is just a great, amazing setup. A whole premise that we can heal. And I know this could get a little controversial. So just go with a couple of things, and these are the points. Let me just put my slides back here, because these are the points that I took away from the book. The hard copy is out now. I believe it's only available on Fred's website, realitycreation.org. And he wanted to hold off a couple of weeks to release the audiobook to Audible for them to approve. So they're probably about a month down the road. I don't know what his timing is, but I didn't say anything to him because I don't inject this kind of stuff in our conversations. But Mercury's in retrograde, so I'm glad he's sitting on it. And as I've seen several of you mentioning that you've been having, so yeah, I'm glad we're doing that. But here were some of my take. I did get to sneak in a little walk around the lake down the way, and I had a couple of thoughts, couple of takeaways. So obviously the book has healing techniques. I'm going to show you a couple of them tonight. Well, one primarily, and then we're going to apply it to all of us. Another thing that the book will do is have us confront our paradigms, our old paradigms. And that really is probably the biggest takeaway of the book, is not the healing technique. I mean, anybody can do this healing technique. It's out there. You already know what it is. You've seen it hundreds of times. The problem is we don't believe it. We don't believe that we can do it. We don't believe that we are strong enough. So it really will have us look outside our belief systems, including our belief systems about how health is treated or healed or managed. Mine, yours, all of us. So I think the thing is, with all of Fred's books, he pushes us outside of our current belief system. That's one thread, whether it's extraterrestrial linguistics, that you think that maybe there is a common language, which moving down here to North Carolina and hearing about the Cherokees coming from the Pleiades all of a sudden fits. Hello? It pushes us out of our little box. It pushes us out of our structure. And this book will do that for you as well. And just let it, allow it. And Fred's experience is not necessarily yours or mine, but we can enter his territory, try, feel, taste, etc., and see what we want to apply to ourselves. That's the whole key. And then the other thing is this whole idea of self-reliance without crutches. Crutches as in external things that we bring into our lives, that we allow into our lives, external things to solve X, whatever X is. And what other things are we talking about? Well, one of the things Fred was talking about in the book was medication. He was surprised when Fred came back from New Zealand, and he hadn't been here for over 2 years, and he had been in that very pristine culture, came back here, and the first thing he told me when we were together in the van back in January is he said, "I can't believe how many pharmacies there are everywhere." Well, already he was processing the whole medical thing, and he was just shocked. It's like, yeah, we take a lot of medication in this country. He also put at the end of the book a list of the diseases from You Can Heal Yourself by Louise Hay. And my takeaway from that was that our bodies are screaming at us from the inside. And yet, the typical way that we treat things now is we treat the symptoms and not the cause of why the body is screaming at us. And in that list, one of the attributes, as here's the disease and then here are the things that cause the disease, was fear. Fear, anxiety, stress, all of these kinds of things were so prominent on that list. So this book is moving us toward self-sufficiency in all areas of our life. Health being one of them, being a big important one, obviously. So it brought me to this question, and I'd like for us to play with this in the chat, if you guys don't mind, for a minute. So the question is, how powerful do you feel right now? How strong and self-capable to literally create your reality, to stand in the face of a storm, to make choices that are consistently, most of the time, good choices, to affect those around you positively, to manage your own life well? I'm curious, how powerful do you feel? So drop in there maybe scale of 1 to 10. or a particular little challenge that you're having in that area, or a struggle, or maybe a victory? How powerful do you feel? Because this is really the crux of the setup for these techniques in the book. Because what he's saying, and he spends half of a chapter, so ended up being probably 30 or 40 minutes of the book, looking at various Bible verses. Why did he do that? Very interesting. Because Fred's dad was a Pentecostal preacher. I never knew that. I knew that their family was Christian. I think the original roots were Indiana, but he said his father was a Pentecostal preacher. And he said it was common in their home and in the church that all the time they were laying on hands and all the things that went with it. So he went back to a lot of the Bible verses and was like, here they are. The Bible says that we can heal ourselves. So why don't we? How did we move away from that? And if you guys don't mind, I'll just, occasionally we'll pop these up because you guys are so awesome. And this is why we screen the people coming into our group, because we're family. And this is all to support each other. Okay. And see, this is the, Michelle, you nailed it. This is the crux of the book, because heal thyself first, right? Wow, now this is interesting. Powerful to do these things, just can't remember to do it. It's not practice. That's a really good point. Melissa, thank you, and welcome, by the way. Glad you're here. Okay, 7 is good. Five or a 6, good, Brittany. Oh, Sophie's here. How is baby Ivy doing? We celebrated with last weekend. Sophie, I know that's just so wonderful that her little precious baby was born on the 13th Friday, and mom and baby are doing great. And I'm so glad that you're in here. Emma, another one of our new folks, 6 on a low day, 8 or 9 on a good day. All right, good. Definitely more powerful than I used to feel. Okay, got a little theme going here. 8 out of 10, good. All right. So, here you go. Exactly. It's about faith. It's about belief. In fact, one of the verses that Fred brought up was in the New Testament in the Bible, where Jesus said, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed seeds are teeny tiny little seeds. Then he says, you can say to this mountain, move, and it will move. As I'm saying that, I've got mountains surrounding me. I'm in this valley. So there's mountains over there, and there's mountains back here. I'm sitting on kind of the little part of one. And I couldn't think of walking out there tonight and going, hey, you, move down there. I want to see the sunset. Yeah. And yet, there it is. And Sophie, in the book of Genesis, in the Garden of Eden, he brought up that verse of God created. And then, of course, modern interpretation is somewhere along the line stopped, retired from creating. Oh, no. No, no, no. Now, see, this is an interesting point. So two of you have talked, well, three of you have talked about helping yourselves. And like Melissa's saying here, is not feeling guilty. Absolutely. Like we have been given the power. Not only our thoughts, but behind the thoughts, what we believe about those thoughts. Because we can think affirmations, right? This is the whole crux of the first book I narrated for him back in 2013, long time ago. Reality creation technique. A thought comes up, and then the doubts. Here the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I can heal myself. Since when? I can heal myself. It's a good way to get sued, or that's a good way to die early, trying to treat yourself. I can heal myself. I have the power and the ability given to me by God to heal myself. Don't tell anybody in public. Don't put that on social media. Yeah, hopefully this video stands by say tomorrow. They don't take it down. But you see what I'm saying is all of a sudden, and Melissa just nailed it, the doubts come up. Or then you say, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Or I'm going to feel guilty for this. And there's the dilemma. And that's why we don't. And then there's right there a great big system to replace what we can often do for ourselves. And I'm going to put the word often in there because obviously I think there's a blend. And Fred, you have to, you know that old saying about don't ever judge somebody until you've walked a mile in their moccasins. And that's how we would want to think about Fred, because he went through some things that I haven't gone through, that didn't happen here to me where I was living during the pandemic months. And so he has seen things and formed opinions and beliefs around what he experienced, as we all do. So without having experienced that, I think we just have to be in the space. And that's why I was saying at the very beginning in that first slide was that the best thing to do here is to observe and let this stretch our limits. But obviously, if you have a compound fracture and your arm bone is sticking out from the skin, fortunately, we have very well-trained medical practitioners who can repair that, and eventually your arm will be back to normal. So go get it fixed. That's the path of least resistance. I mean, we could apply this technique to it, but you get what I'm saying, right? I think that we have to take it in full context. And there are some times when, even in the Bible, back to those Bible stories, the disciples came back and they said, we can't do this. Well, you don't have enough faith. Well, you can take this as far as you are comfortable taking it, I guess is the bottom line. But the point is that we are given powers that we don't use. And that's the message. We're given powers. And in fact, in the book, he sets up creating first, healing is second. We're talking about creating things in our lives that we don't follow through on. We're talking about creating abilities that were given to us inherently that we have been taught since we were born. Sophie, I know you're going to teach your baby differently. Jack and Ashley, I know you're going to teach Lyra differently. These kids are going to grow up with new belief systems that they are powerful little creators. And they'll never forget it until they get indoctrinated with the other stuff. But then they already have had those years of that base that a lot of us who grew up differently didn't have. So we believed the old system. We believe that we are supposed to feel guilty about helping ourselves first. What do they say on the airplane? Put the mask on first. It's hard to help your kid if you're gasping for breath. So I was wanting to click on that one. Mary, I'm glad you commented too. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Mary, that's what we're talking about. And Mary's really been putting this to work in her career area of her life, like big major shift, creating her own space. Now, one of the things that Fred taught in Orlando and in this book is that we can command our reality. I did a podcast on this. I think it's in the 170s, so maybe 100 or something back, where I talked to, and I did this as a little Toastmasters speech in Aspen when I was there. So that would have been 2016 or 2017. And I don't know where I came across it. Maybe it was in one of his other books. Maybe it was somewhere else. Or maybe I just made it up. I don't know. But the thing was that we can create in the universe just because we say so. And I made it a funny little speech of, I want whatever it is. I want a car. I want a new car. I want a new blue car because I said so. Right? Make it fun. Make it silly. Make yourself laugh. I said so. I said I can have a new car. There you go. I said I can heal this. My body, I can heal this because I said so. And that it's kind of like end of story. Why would we not believe that? Because it's so stinking simple. Just declare it, but standing on the ground that you have the power and the authority to say so. He spends part of a chapter talking about entities, commanding entities, that we have that authority, and we are to be zero afraid of that realm if we ever encounter it. Zero, because we have ultimate authority. That's a great little section in there. See, this is exactly the point of this, is that we have been given this power. If you remember that first slide that I put up, what I was saying here is be willing to look outside the paradigms. Be willing to look outside the belief systems. Be willing to try new things. That's the whole key. The whole key is that we are, like right here, we're programmed to suffer. Why? If you had $1 million in a bank account in your name at Chase Bank, $1 million in your name, and it was there. It's been there for the last 10 years. It's been sitting there. It's there. It's in your name. Your social security number, your address. Chase has been wondering where you've been. And then once you find out, you go, oh, that's impossible. Somebody tells you, you know what, Melissa, you've got $1 million in your name down at Chase Bank. No, I don't. That's never happened before. That's impossible. That never happens. Those are just those stories. I know and yet you could go down there and draw out every bit of it tomorrow and use it. Buy a house with it, buy a car with it, fix up the place, buy some new clothes, quit your job, whatever you would do with $1 million. You would take actions after you really said, hey, this is for real. I'm telling you, on whatever level you choose to connect with, that same infinite ability exists in each of us on the creative plane. We just don't use it. We don't tap into it. This was the crux of the Louise Hay stuff in there. And I'm sure a lot of you have read or have the copy of her book, You Can Heal Yourself. Is getting in tune with our body. What is it that's causing this disease or this manifestation of illness in my body? Isn't that true for most of us? I rushing around, I had to make some tea, some chai. Yeah, isn't that the deal? And that affects our own belief system. And that full circle back to what we put in comes out. And when we put in, and here's the other thing, is we are around the negativity and then we start to believe the negativity because it sells really well, has for hundreds of years, thousands of years, and it sells really well in today's culture. And that's why we've been committed around here to only putting positive posts on Facebook. Why? So we can be Pollyannas and not believe all the horrible things that are going on around the world? No. So that we can create around it. So that we can steer our ship right through it. We don't have to believe all of that. And that's why we keep ourselves positive. All right. So let's start to bring this in and do it ourselves. So I'm going to show you a technique, and this is where I would like you to put in the chat. I'm not looking for private health information. I'm not looking to expose this to Mark Zuckerberg and his team. So that's why you don't have to put anything personal if you don't want to. If you want to put knee pain, or if you want to put shoulder pain, or if you want to put neck pain or whatever, that's fine. That's your choice. Or just put me, or what else? I, or put an X or whatever, but drop something. What if up? That's a good comment. What if up? Just put something in the chat to say, I'm in on this. I'm going to do this. And I believe, and I'm going to try. I'm willing to try. And this is an area that I would like healed. This is an area that I would put, obviously, my heart. It's been doing pretty good lately. I've been managing it well, too. Yeah, just me, please. That's great. This is my #1 gal in the Fun Astrology 101 course. She emailed me and asked if she could get in even before it was open. And she is number one. And we are praying for you tonight. And she and I exchanged emails this past week about this, and she is still processing. Her daughter was just a few months old and had SIDS, crib death. And so let's just send Samara and her family some love here. Especially as well. And that's healing too. Healing comes in all flavors. So just focus in. A lot of you are saying me. Maybe, unless you're typing there, just kind of close your eyes and focus in a second. Focus into yourself. Take a good deep breath. Whatever it took to get here, whatever is going on in the room that you're in, just quiet and center. And go inside, and in all full self-honesty, ask yourself, so how much do I really believe this? Really? Or how much am I willing to believe this? Really? So I believe I really have a God-given, divine ability, power that's been in me all this time, all these years, to heal myself if I believe it? Really? Square up with that. And if you don't fully believe it, be honest about it, and that's something to work on. Maybe that's the healing. Heal my belief, or heal my ability to believe. Or maybe I need to do some housekeeping. Like Melissa was said, she's surrounded by it. Maybe less surrounding? What does that mean? What actions would need to be taken to pull that off? That kind of thing. Do you feel you are divinely supported? You don't have to believe in God. Maybe you do. Maybe you believe in a higher power. Maybe you believe in a force, but not a person. That's okay. Just, do you feel divinely supported? Is there something bigger out there, bigger than yourself, bigger than our solar system, that made all of our planets line up in one row around the sun? Something did that. What is that? What is it for you, and how big is it? Is it bigger than that issue? See, the mindset is the work. I'm going to show you a technique. I mean, you can do anything you want. It's the mindset. If you're in the right mindset, you've already done it. All right, let's address this question of Melissa's. Let's come back into the realm of the mind for just a second. Then I'm going to show you this technique. Then we're going to do it as our meditation tonight as a group. And then we'll wrap up. Fred had a really pretty strong response to, yeah, but what if it doesn't work? And I'll tell you the gist of it, because the audiobook's not going to be out for a month or so, and I want you guys to be practicing this if you do choose to get the book ahead of, so you're already in the space. And this is a perfect venue for that. You know, we have two folks tonight who are memorializing transition dates. So this gets real fast, doesn't it? So back to this question, or the question, what if it doesn't work? Fred addressed it in his own way. I'm going to address it in mine. You're going to get my version here, not a parrot of his. This gets into more teaching that maybe we'll do not next week. I've told you about next week, right? Hemet and Dawn from up at Dawn's gong room in her house. A little bit of yoga, a little bit of gongs next Sunday night. So maybe it would be the following week, or maybe I would just tackle this in a podcast. I don't know. We'll see. But we live in this linear, outcome-based reality. And even though I've experienced the death of many people in my life, by the time you get up to this age, that's unfortunately one of the notches on your trunk. Mike O'Sullivan, who had been in here tonight, hit me in a way that reframed this so much differently. He was only 53. His birthday was just a week ago. That there is so much more to a soul's journey than what we experience here in this physical reality with a heliocentric perspective with us at the center of the rotation. And in that tapestry, people come in, people leave. I think the other thing that really brought new awareness to me on that was the story that I told Fred in that podcast where he interviewed me. I told him about the little situation up on that I solved or resolved or encountered or moved forward on Grandfather Mountain when there was a miscarriage in that story, or it was a terminated or an ended pregnancy. Let's just put it that way. However it was, this is past life stuff. But in the present, there was a miscarriage in my past where that little soul came in just as a messenger, kind of at a strange time even. I don't understand that tapestry. But boy, I saw the connection. And that soul made itself very alive and real on the side of Grandfather Mountain. Why, at this point in my journey, did that happen? It's part of the tapestry. And when we come down here, we are given partial perspectives. We don't see the whole thing. We'll see it on the other side. We don't see it over here. So when a soul transitions, that's part of that tapestry. And maybe part of this process is tuning into the tapestry. Is it time to try to heal, or is it time to let go? Is it time to hold on, or is it time to release the tapestry? It's bigger than our little heliocentric orbit, if you know what I mean. So in this process, there's the boldness of the process, and then there's the willingness to fit in to the bigger picture. So it's almost, as we're bringing divine help, divine source to bear, it's almost, well, see, this gets other elements of the book. I think fitting into the tapestry is the best answer. If it is for the highest and best good for all, would be a good way to put it. If this is for the highest and best good for all, the healing takes place. And if it doesn't, I'm in the tapestry. I'm in it for the long game. All of it. Here is the healing technique that Fred used in Orlando and is described in the book. You were putting in the areas that you said you're in. Find that area in your body. If it's knee pain, obviously, put it on right on the pain. If it's your heart, if it's your shoulder, your neck area, if it's migraine headaches, put your dominant hand, for me that would be my right hand, put your dominant hand on that area, wherever it is. Melissa, I'm sending you all kinds of love, girl. I'm sending you, all of you that are dealing with this. I'm sending you all kinds of love. Find that area on your body. I'll just do this. I'll put my heart. So dominant hand on that area. Cup your left hand like you're receiving, like somebody's pouring water in it, and just hold it up. And then close your eyes and feel that energetic connection. Feel the energy above you. Now, this is just for you. This is you healing you. Don't worry about anybody else right now. This is you. If it's systemic, like an autoimmune type thing, maybe you put your hand on your head, or your crown, or your solar plexus, the root of the problem, or wherever you feel to put your hand. You're passing energy to that area, and you hold it, and you intend, and you say a prayer, something like, I am now calling on divine energy to heal my heart from its arrhythmia, that it beats in a normal sinus rhythm at all times, that is my natural state, and I am returning and restoring my body to its natural state now. And I am commanding any entity, any energy, any obstruction or block to that out and away and gone. Now you no longer have authority or control over this area of my body. I'm taking my body back. and flow the energy that you're feeling coming into your left hand as it is cupped to receive and flowing it right in there. I'm going to be quiet in a minute. You just feel it here. For some of you, this may be strong enough that you want to bring your other arm or your hand down and put it in that area as well and just double support that. It may be that too. Either you're receiving it from above or you're just in the space of that moment. Feel it. Here comes the energy. Do you believe that it is possible? And now, same way we conclude the prayer of pray rain. Thank God, source, universe, your divine power for the ability of co-creating. Thanking source for the healing that has taken place. You felt the energy. Now, one of the things that was addressed in the book is partial healing. I'll leave that for the book. We'll keep working this from a different perspective. But I do want to do one other part of this here. And this is, well, actually, let's do this together. Let's set this up. I know this is a lot of energy kind of processing tonight. He made the comment, and Arnaldo and I saw firsthand, group energy is more effective than individual energy. There's a dynamic of a group. We can't all be together in person, but we are here energetically, and we are in the same space and time. So we're going to do this as a group for each other. This is the original nature of our healing convergence. This is what we've been doing since August. Let's just do it for each other. So for everybody who put an acknowledgement in the chat, this is for you. And we'll all say this prayer together. So however you want to do this, if you want to put the healing hand, the dominant hand on your computer, I think that would be a good thing. If you have a candle that you would like to hold in your hand, if that's possible, that would be a good thing. Touch your screen. If it's a laptop, if it's your phone, hold the phone with that dominant hand. And then I know we were holding our hand up quite a bit, maybe just resting your other hand or out in front of you, cup it to receive. Resting, comfortable as we say this prayer together, connected to each other for the requests that were expressed. I command all negative energy, anything that doesn't belong, all pressure, and all pain from all years past to leave right now at this moment for all of us. Right now, in this instant, beautifully, strongly, miraculously. The more we sit here and intend and speak, the more this pain or issue lifts, dissolves, and disappears, being replaced by the most radiant and soothing light now. So that soon we forget all about this. And you feel just like the other area of our body that is normal, where all is well. I command a healing to you. Whatever does not belong, I command you to leave now, permanently. Amen. Wow. I think about all the things that are behind that prayer. The emotions, those of you who have lost people, emotional healing, physical healing, healing our beliefs, all of it. Wow. If you would like a screenshot of that, I'll put it up here in a minute, okay? You can queue up your phone and I'll just queue up your phone and you can screenshot. This is a good point, Brittany. I'm glad you said this. The technique doesn't matter. You just do what you do. It's all from the heart. It's not the external. That's where we get so crisscrossed. We think it's the external. It's all from our heart. We don't have to do anything. We don't even have to sit down. Do it while you're driving down the road. You can do it while you're doing something else. It's all from in here. But thanks for playing full out. You're a precious young girl. And I really love you, and I'm glad that you're here week after week. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging in and listening to all of this. It really is incredible stuff. I never thought that I would be able to use my voice on a regular basis again. But I held to this. I've done this exercise. I asked a group in Orlando to do it for me. And I'm sitting here talking to you now. Mostly by this time of night, I would be unable to use my voice. Have to wait to sleep through the reset, whatever the reset was, and use it again. So this is this stuff works. I was narrating yesterday, so I'm facing these self-imposed deadlines. Turns out I tell Fred, hey, I've got it all done. He says, oh, that's great. Thank you. I'm going to wait a couple of weeks to turn it out. I'm like, oh, man. But they're starting this construction around here this renovation of this building tomorrow, supposedly. And then my buddy Hemmett's coming. I pick him up on Tuesday. So I really wanted to get all this stuff done. So I'm in there yesterday, cranking it out yesterday morning. And one of the things that an audiobook narrator cringes when it starts happening, my stomach started gurgling. You can't stop it. Scott Brick said, get a pillow, and you put a pillow over it. But I mean, it comes right up your esophagus, and these microphones are hypersensitive, and it comes through. So here it goes. And I thought, well, I'm sitting here. I was in the chapter on self-healing. And I'm like, okay. So I put my hand on the top of my stomach and I held my hand up. I sat there for probably about 3 minutes. I felt the energy. Not one more gurgle the whole rest of the time that I worked on the book yesterday morning. No kidding. I am not kidding. So just to say, stuff works. This has been a lot. Thank you for sitting through it. I love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful week. I'm going to be enjoying playing around with my buddy. The podcasts will all be done. The books, well, my book I set aside for Fred's. Fred's book is done. My radio show stuff is done. So, or will be. I'm going to go play. And I need it. So we'll see you back next weekend. It's going to be super special and amazing. Thank you for staying through this tonight. Continue to practice it through the week. I love you. We'll see you next week from Dawn's house for a very special evening together. Love you guys.